Professor Carafit here for an awkward selfie video on how to identify trees using your dichotomous key. Now, when we look at a tree, here's a tree. First thing we might look at are the leaves. So this is a deciduous tree, the kind of tree that would lose its leaves in the winter. The leaf consists of a couple of parts. Let's look at this one. This leaf has a blade, which is the big green part, and a petiole, which is the stalk of the leaf. That's the petiole. This leaf has 3 major lobes, and then those lobes are divided into smaller lobes, kind of jagged looking, and on the edges of that leaf there are little teeth that you can kind of see on there. There are little teeth on there as well. So the lobes are jagged and there are little teeth on there. Okay, and the front of the leaf is green, the back of the leaf is a little bit lighter silvery color. Okay, let's have a look at how the leaves are attached to the stem. So here's a branch, I hope you can see, and the leaves, the petioles on the leaves come off the stem opposite of one another. For example, this one is opposite of this one. So they are attached opposite to one another on the stem. Meanwhile, this tree over here has leaves attached alternately to the stem. Here's a leaf, then there's a space, and there's another leaf right here. Okay, so where a leaf comes off of the stem is called a node. Okay, and in this case there's one leaf per node. There's a bud in the axil of the leaf, which is that little angle between the petiole and the branch. That bud will grow into a new branch or a flower. Then there's a space called an internode, and then another leaf. So these leaves are alternate. They come off the branch alternate one another, whereas the leaves on the tree we started with are opposite. There are 2 leaves per node, opposite of one another. Some trees will even have more than 2 leaves per node, but these are opposite. Okay, so what do? We go to our key. You should follow along if you have a copy of this dichotomous key as well. So the dichotomous key works by series of couplets, 2 questions, or questions with one of 2 answers. So it says 1A, plant a tree, 1A, a vine, or 1B, a tree or a shrub. Well, that is a tree or a shrub. So we go to number 7. Number 7 says, is it a shrub? If it's a shrub, it's like as tall as you or shorter typically when it's fully grown. This is most definitely a tree. Number 16 is where we go next. Number 16 says, tree evergreen or tree deciduous? Well, that is the kind of tree that loses its leaves. So that is a deciduous tree. Number 21 is where we go next. Number 21 says, is this a gymnosperm with narrow leaves that are like a centimeter long, or is this an angiosperm, a flowering plant that has broad, flat leaves? Well, this is definitely in that category. So it says go to number 22. Leaves opposite or whorled, or leaves alternate? This tree had opposite leaves, so we go to number 23. Then it says, are the leaves whorled or opposite? Whorled leaves means more than 1 per node. This tree has opposite leaves, so it says go to number 24. Leaves compound or leaves simple? I don't have a compound leaf to show you right now, but if this tree had compound leaves, there would be a little branch down, or a little a petiole like this with a bud in the node, and then there would be a bunch of leaflets off the petiole. It would almost look like another branch with lots of little leaves, but there's only one bud way down there where the leaf comes off the main branch. That would be a compound leaf. I'll try to show you one in a bit. This plant has simple leaves. So it says go to number 26. Leaf margins entire, that means no teeth, or does it have teeth? And does it have lobes? This plant definitely has teeth and lobes. The lobes are the big spiky bits, and the teeth are the smaller, that I can't quite get to focus, the smaller teeth on the edges of the leaf, which will not focus very well. Okay. Then it says, go to number 27. It says, back of the leaf green, teeth very large and few in number. Well, I'd say these teeth, it's hard to tell teeth from lobes maybe on this leaf, but I would say that there's quite a few of them. And the back of the leaf to me looks a little bit silvery. The front's green, the back's a little bit silvery. So the next one says, back of leaf whitish, teeth small and many in number. Okay, let's check that out. Teeth small and many in number. Let's go to number 28. That says we have teeth very jagged, irregular. Probably silver maple is what this key's out to. Okay, And there's an isopod running over my Dichotomous Key right now. A roly-poly. Hi, buddy. Wanna see? There he is. Put him back down. All right. So now I'm going to try to find you a plant with compound leaves so you can see what those look like. All right, I found a plant with compound leaves. So let's have a look. I'm not going to key this one out, but I want to show you what it looks like. So here's a plant that has leaves. Now, here's what I want to show you. See this whole thing in my hand? This whole thing is one leaf. How do I know that? Well, these are called leaflets right here, and there's no bud. There's no bud down there where the leaflet meets this major branch. But there is a bud down here where this entire thing meets the branch. So this is a compound leaf, and this is a pinnately compound leaf. Pinnately compound means like a feather. Okay, so rather than these being leaves, these are called leaflets, and this whole thing is a leaf. This whole thing that looks like a feather is a leaf. Okay, that's a pinnately compound leaf. Here's an example of a plant with a palmately compound leaf. Palmately compound leaves, let's see if I can get this to, are more like the fingers coming off of your hand. They all come together in one spot. And once again, if we look where here's a palmately compound leaf, if we follow the petiole up right here, where it meets the stem is a bud. So this whole thing, let me just pull one off so I can show you. This whole thing is a leaf with a bunch of leaflets, palmately compound, and then down here, you know, is essentially the petiole where it attached to the stem, and there was a bud down there in the axil of the leaf. Okay, so those are the major terms you'll need to understand to get started keying plants here on campus. There are others, but you can Google them pretty easily. Before I end this video, I want to show you another plant with compound leaves. I believe they are. I've never actually handled it to double check. See this plant right here? That is poison ivy. The leaves are in triplets. See, 1, 2, 3. And it can grow as a shrub, as a vine, or as a little plant down on the ground like this. So be careful when you're keying things out. Stay away from things that have leaves of 3.